Sorry I'm late, guys. I'd like to call the meeting to order, the Westerly Public Schools School Building Subcommittee meeting for Wednesday, January 8th. The time is 6:03. Members present are Giuseppe Giacarelli, Steve Marone, Kristen Federico, Chris Duhamel, Dan Lathrop, Audrey Folberg, Chris Lund, and Mark McKinnon, and Dr. Mark Garceau, and myself, Justin. I think we got a full vote tonight. Great. The first order of business is approval of meeting minutes from the December 11th, 2024 meeting. These should have been part of the meeting distribution. If there are no modifications to these minutes, we'll entertain a motion to approve. Second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. Any abstentions? I actually think I need to abstain from those.
Oh, I do too. I wasn't here last week. Oh, and I do too, actually. I think.
Okay, awesome. We'll clean that up in the next minutes. I also have, in the packet, I have the November 13th meeting minutes. Those were not listed on the agenda, but I think for the sake, oh, they need my signature. You guys approved them at the last meeting. All right. The next order of business is public comment. Any members of the public wish to address the school building subcommittee? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to approval of invoices. So as is typical right now, we have to spend some money. So we'll go through the invoices as they've been presented in Downs project update. The first invoice is for tower construction, application for payment number 6 for Dunn's Corners and Springbrook Elementary Schools through December 31st, 2024 in the amount of $369,110.15. Are there any questions about these invoices? If not, I'll just ask for motions after I read them.
Motion to approve.
Second. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. The next item is O&G Industries application for payment number 4 for State Street Elementary School through December 31st, 2024 in the amount of $865,894.63.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and second. Any further questions? My only question, this is application number 4. Have we approved 3 pay-ups?
Mhm.
Okay,
We have
all right.
2 and 3 were together,
Okay,
that's why.
all right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Next item is DBBW invoice number 2318-19 for professional services for Dunn's Corner and Springbrook Elementary Schools through December 31st, 2024 in the amount of $30,875.22.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Next batch of invoices, and we'll take these all as one. I'll read them, all 3 of them out, are for Prime Consulting, Testing, and Inspection Services at Springbrook, Dunn's, and State Street through December 31st, 2024 in the total amount of $17,853.40. These represent invoice number 23177 for State Street Elementary School in the amount of $13,502. Invoice number 23178 for Springbrook Elementary School for $2,797.60. And invoice number 23179 for Dunn's Corner Elementary School at $1,553.80.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? And these, just as a reminder, these are for our third-party independent testing of the construction activities that are going on at all 3 schools. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay. What's that?
Half its travel time.
Yeah. The next invoice is for Downs Construction Company. Invoice is number 16 for OPM services for December of 2024 in the total amount of $21,480. This represents Dunn's Corner Elementary School at $5,565, Springbrook Elementary School at $5,565, and State Street Elementary School at $10,350.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Okay. There are no further invoices, Deb?
Not this week. Thank you.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is owner's project manager and architect update.
Thank you. And so Ashley is here with us tonight, so I'll let him take the lead.
Wow.
So he can operate on his discussion for Dunn's Corner and Springbrook.
I'll be quick. It's only like 4 or 5 slides.
Right.
All right, so with the rec that you just paid number 6, we're sitting around 33 to 35% complete projects right now. Deb and I are going to be meeting with them tomorrow to see a roadmap to making sure their schedules submitted in January still show August 22nd substantial completion. So they're still moving towards that. So we just want to see the backup to make sure they're on track to do that. So that'll be one of the discussions we have tomorrow. There hasn't been a ton of progress. You can see by the recs, the money has come down a little bit. They're trying to avoid some winter conditions right now. But at Dunn's Corner, the building's enclosed. They're working on interior partitions, kitchen layout, continuing a lot of the roof installation, both on the existing building and the new. They're working inside the building. They did the bathrooms for the new lobby out of sequence in order to help them in the summer. It's basically taking over a storage room and an office that was not being used next to construction. They're still doing sprinkler work after hours. And most of the precast, I would say like the precast concrete is probably 90–95% right now, if not more. Upcoming work, we want to see how they're going to ramp up for MEP once the building is weather tight. They've gotten approval from the building inspector to put Tyvek around the building to keep it weather tight so they can start heating. We just got the temp heat submittal today. And then moving forward, next couple months, the exterior masonry is going to start up when it gets a little warmer, like March, April. There was a lead time on the brick anyway, so it fits right into the schedule. And then they're working on figuring out the septic system because we have to keep the existing system active. We're trying to figure out how the pipes work on top of each other. So they're working on that right now. Garland Roof, which is the same company we had at Springbrook, is observing full time when they're out there working on the roof. So we're getting reports from them. So everything's compliant for Mark and his warranties. Over at Springbrook, there's even less work going on.
Actually, one question on those corners that someone brought up. I guess they did a bunch of plantings of like seagrass, like right up against the sidewalk. That there's a lot of concern that in the spring, once that starts growing, it's just gonna take over the sidewalk.
We need to look at
the sidewalk.
They decided right before Christmas to do some planting, and we were wondering why they were doing it out of the growing season.
Yeah.
So we haven't accepted any of that planting yet. So
Okay.
when we see it, and we're going to be there tomorrow, so we'll take a look at
Yeah,
that.
because it's gonna essentially mean you can't walk on the sidewalk. Right?
Yeah,
It's gonna grow.
that probably isn't advisable. So we'll take a look at that.
Yeah, all right. I just want to make sure someone.
Yeah, we're worried about the plants surviving, being planted in late December. So
Seagrass will live through anything. So.
yeah, so we were a little concerned about it, but Springbrook progress is going to start ramping up. They're finally going to start working on the media center steel in the back area. On the two-story addition, they got the metal decking installed. They're gonna try to get some studs in to enclose the space so they can heat it and then pour the concrete for the upper deck. The fire service and the asphalt were put in at the loading dock area. We have some compliance concerns on the asphalt, which we're dealing with right now. We think it cooled too quickly, so it didn't compact the way it wanted to, because it was a pretty cold day when they did it. So they've been made aware of that. Again, masonry work at the existing media center exterior wall. We've already done the structure to reframe it. Now we have to put the wall back. So they'll do a tent for that area and be doing masonry for that as well. So we'll get, once we get the temp heat, we'll get that fire marshal to sign off on it as well. And that's pretty much where they are. Over the holidays, they did some painting inside. So it's, you know, they took advantage where they could with the work. And that's pretty much where we are with the project right now. Still heavily involved in paperwork, submittals, RFIs, things like that. The other reason I wanted to come here is because now that it's 2025, we need to look at getting to the completion with the furniture. We want to get specifically the media center furniture, which is why I put a couple media centers on the bottom. That takes a long lead time to do. So we have the media center furniture to select. So this is going to entail is that TSKP and NCA have asked to be part of the meetings with a committee that we're going to ask this body to put together for a group of people that could be the decision makers for the furniture. They want to meet early to hear about the conversations regarding some of the global products that we're going to use across all the schools. The kids' chairs, like in the media center, the student desks, things like that. We want to review the furniture plans that we put out back in 23 with the construction documents that we sent to RIDE, make sure that's still the idea, what you guys want to do. We're going to talk with this group that you assigned to talk about options and preferences of, sometimes the school wants certain types of chairs. Maybe they get the fidget chairs and things like that. So we got to talk about that kind of stuff. We're going to right now, and we're going to confirm this with Eileen on Friday, is that our contract owns working directly with WB Mason to come up with a list of products and then putting it out for a purchase. It's off the state MPA. They can just go to the state list and buy the products right off. So we're not going to be putting this out to bid, but other people can provide those products other than WB if they choose to. Yeah, we hope that's the way it goes. Yeah. We do want to try to standardize the selections between all three projects. I think there's still going to be some individuality between our firm and the other firm, but because it's different buildings. But we want to try to standardize what we can. So if Mark is moving equipment around, you have the same stuff. At least it's going to look all the same. Or we're going to create a spec that in the future, if you want to change all the desks at Dunn's, you already have it from State Street, same spec, go out and get 500 more. We're going to refine, we had an estimate, we have some escalation in there, and I think even we put a escalation on the escalation, or contingency on the escalation to make sure we're good for 2025. But we do want to check that because we're want to see how the bid climate is. So probably, I'd say mid to late February, we'd be back before you guys to show you the final results of our meetings, just to get an SBC approval, and then we'll put it out for purchase at that point. So procurement would be end of February at the latest, early March. And then we'll talk about receiving and installing, having the furniture installed in August for our project. And then TSKP will be in the future. So we want to get some dates for deliveries assigned so that we can tell the contractor what areas need to be done, things like that. So this is the only action item I have for tonight, is to ask this committee if you would, or can volunteer people
I feel like Audrey and I, I mean,
Right, and then we can get like a specialist and
Right.
maybe a 3 to 4 grade teacher.
Right.
Is this for Springbrook and Dunn's, is it only the media center that's getting furniture?
We are doing at Springbrook furniture, and then we'll have a few pieces of furniture in the small group instruction rooms. So there might be a few desks, a couple tables, things like that. Mostly media center at Springbrook, and then at Dunn's, it's cafeteria tables, and then we have a little bit of office furniture for a few of the specialists, and we have the project lab. Actually, we have project labs at both places, so we're gonna have tables. Usually we do adjustable height tables with stools or chairs, that kind of arrangement.
so Dunn's Corners and Springbrook, like classrooms are not getting desks.
No, that was a VE item back in SD in order to get us down
Yeah.
to the 50 million bond.
So it's one of the items that I think as we get a little bit further along in construction, that there may be some project contingencies that I think that would be one of the first items.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned it to Justin too, is that because we're working in summer 25, the ride reimbursement doesn't have to be until June of 26. So you have all the way up till late winter, spring of 26 to look at that contingency money once State Street is at a certain point, to see what money you have available.
So how many members are we looking for on this subcommittee?
I'd say at least 3, 3 to 5. I don't want to have it too big. I don't want to have it too small.
Do they need to be committee members?
Sammy or.
Yeah, we get one media specialist, one small group educator,
Yeah.
make sure we've done the Springbrook represented.
I think
Yeah,
take care of
I think that
Dunn's.
makes sense.
You want?
You'll reach out to someone to be on it.
There could,
Yeah.
as long as there's a couple here that could then
Okay,
be
right.
responsible to report to the committee.
Yeah, I think we'll consider these a working group meeting just to kind of get working group
Working
rather
group
than
rather than
subcommittee,
committee. Yeah.
because then I think we start to fall under OMA.
Yep.
So
So if Audrey's gonna take the lead on it, and you're on the committee, I think if there's 2 or 3 others, I don't want it to get too big. The one thing that we always know is that you're not gonna please everyone, it's to please the entire district about that. So if there's a teacher that has quirks or things like that,
like with like color selection.
well, like a certain color, yes. But we try to meet the needs of the district as a whole.
And we've looked at a lot of,
Yeah, State Street's looked at.
we've looked at a
Had a
lot
lot of info from
already, so
teachers.
that's good. Right, and we've gotten info, so that's what, we can bring that to people.
Yeah, and I know that was early with WB, and I know we've worked with Ed Pires. I know it was a different person than Ed Pires that contacted you, Audrey, originally. But we can try to get that information all up to speed and figure out where we're at.
We just did basic furniture and layout. We worked with someone in TSKP.
Yeah.
We didn't work with WB met with us, but not on specific furniture.
Okay, all right. Those people from TSKP are who's gonna also be in this initial meeting and some of our other meetings, so I think that's the goal. We had a very extensive discussion in the elementary school level when we did Smithfield regarding chair height. Which is the best chair height for a K-5 was that school. Here we have K4. You go with the 16, you go to 15, 17, it's like, there was a huge discussion on that. So I don't know how deep we're gonna get into that, whether that's already kind of been figured out in the district or not.
We
They're
definitely
adjustable,
talked about
right?
that in our meetings
Yeah.
about furniture.
Yeah, so some of it is also every
Width.
height of chair changes, the actual
Right.
chair changes.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it
And
was,
it's,
it was.
and it's different, it can be different between grade levels too.
Correct, but we wanted to try in that case to just say, we want to buy, at that case, it was about 700 chairs, we wanted to buy all the same, so we had to come up with a general size that everywhere. Except for K was the one that was a little, pre-K and K was a little bit different, but 1 through 5 had all the same size chair,
Oh,
so,
Be best if we could do 1 through 4,
yeah.
same share.
Something adjusts. So either
Yeah.
the desk has to adjust or the.
The desk usually
something,
do.
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Then that's fine.
Well, that's the other thing, some of the desks, they have these, the ones that nest together in
Yeah,
groups of
absolutely.
2, groups of 3, groups of 4. Like what how you're gonna arrange, you know, do you do them in a line, do you want them in pods, you know, that's the kind of.
Stable surface.
They were all on wheels. Everything was on wheels. It was, you know, they could be lockable.
Yeah.
But
And that's all stuff we have to talk about with the budget, you know, casters are more than just nylon feet, so like where do we, you know, how does that all fit together? So that's the kind of discussions we're gonna have. And we'd like to really get moving, you know, next week at the earliest.
Sure.
So we can get going with that. Sarah's gonna take the lead from my office, and I'm gonna be involved too, since I'm the voice to you guys, so.
Right.
All right.
Just let me know what time works good for you.
Next
With your team, I'm sure it'll be after hours, right,
Yeah.
after 3. That'll be best,
Yeah, probably, yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So I bought a bunch of desks recently, a couple of years ago. Desks aren't made like they used to be, you know, so we, look at reviews, make
Okay.
sure you're buying something that's quality. Not,
IKEA.
yeah.
Yeah.
Brand new desks were broken. It's just like, it's
Yeah, it's.
even adjustable, even.
The gauge of the metal changes depending on manufacturers. Sometimes the pipe on it is just, you know, 1 or 2 millimeters thinner, and then next thing you know, they're breaking like crazy. You know, so it's the
are there
cost.
any warranties?
Yeah, WB makes and carries Scholarcraft,
Okay.
which is made in Massachusetts, and they offer a lifetime warranty.
Wow. Right, so there you go.
That's really
Right.
nice.
Yeah, we recommend that company a lot
They're
because they're in
very
Worcester, so they're,
Right.
they're,
Very
they're-
cost effective. So, and they have some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like it's inexpensive.
all right. So we have our plan going forward, and WB is also very forthcoming if we need a sample. If people want to see these things, we get them to bring them in, drop them right off at the schools. So we'll work with you guys, and
They could set up a little platform if you'd like.
if we have a space for it.
Yeah.
Right here.
They can bring in a few things you just try out, especially for the media centers that got some really cool stuff. Media centers.
Yeah, we, the picture in the upper right was from, Salve Regina. We just redid their, McKillop Library. And, these are 2 students that just happened to just plunk down in a chair and just started doing their social media or whatever, but they were just testing out the stuff and it was quite interesting. So, all right, that's all I have for you guys. If you have any questions for me.
You're not gonna fit in that chair.
No.
Actually, just to confirm that you said breakout rooms at Springbrook, right? Like small group instruction.
Those two small group rooms, I think we're gonna try to fit in. I don't remember if they were in the budget, but it's gonna be so small that we should try to get some new, because you don't have those rooms right now.
And then the library.
Yeah, I can send you a small list.
Okay.
I can send you a list of what we're looking
Well,
at
just
for
so
our
I
school.
can make sure we invite the right
Mhm.
person's input.
Okay. Yeah, I think like our offices, we have the 3 specialist offices at Dunn's. We'll probably take the lead on what is chosen for State Street, because you have more offices there, so, that would be probably the preference. So, all right.
Okay, any other questions for Ashley?
Thanks, Ashley.
Yeah.
No, all set?
Yeah.
So do a quick update for State Street. As Audrey knows, they're over there still working around way on the foundation. They expect to be finishing up by the end of the month. United Steel will be on site on January 21st. And they'll be setting up their crane. They do have a new, pick plan for the steel because of the FAA requirement to reduce the height of the crane from 130 feet to 106. So they originally had 2 locations for the crane, and now they have 5. So they're gonna be, creating a few ramps to get themselves inside the building, to get the reach. But it's gonna take a little more time. I know there's a little conversation going on with ONG about possible additional costs, but they're doing their best to make sure that doesn't happen. I'll let you know if they do wanna send anything in on that. So they're gonna be doing steel for about 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, considering weather contingent on that. And then they'll just keep going after that.
Everyone gets to see the pictures and videos from when we went out and sang Christmas carols to the workers.
In the snow, in the snow.
In the snow,
Yeah.
it's the most magical thing ever. It literally started snowing as we were walking out, big, giant snowflakes. It was
amazing.
unbelievable.
It
It was so sweet.
It was, I know my marketing department was just like, gaga.
And the guys were all taking pictures.
Yeah,
and
they
they
were
were
taking
so,
pictures.
like, they were so excited.
So it was so cute. That one picture, the kids are here and there's the fence and there's the other guys. It heart has on it. But, no, they love it. They love the pictures they get out there. They're all in the trailer.
Yeah,
You know, so
okay.
she comes out to the meeting, so it's working out great. So no issues out there. They've been going strong and, yeah, no problems to date. So that project is going well. So we're seeing a lot of progress. When that building comes out of the ground, it will really come together. And so an update real quick on the capital projects 5-year plan. Last night, the school committee graciously approved our recommendation to award contract for A&E services to Brewster Thornton. We've been working with them throughout the holiday break. They've been through all the schools. They've been working in good faith to get ahead on the submission to RIDE for February 15th. So we have a substantial submission. They go in depth and they do schematic designs on, you know, the roof replacement, on mechanical upgrades. So we were talking with Mike today about new AV system for the middle school, things like that. So they've been great to work with to date, and I'm really looking forward to working with them to get this submitted by the 15th. So that's all good stuff right now.
So, just to bring, the members of the subcommittee up to speed a little bit, we kind of went out of order. We kind of got behind the sticks in terms of, our meeting schedule, especially outside of, you know, the Thanksgiving holiday. We only have one meeting in, November, and the Christmas and New Year's holiday, we only had one meeting in December. There was an RFP out, a qualifications-based RFP out to the MPA architects, master price agreement architects. The ideally approval of sub-consultants would originate here and then go to the school committee. In an effort to get ahead of this, we went directly to the school committee last night. Mainly because, and I mentioned this at the school committee, I think I mentioned this at past building subcommittee meetings, is we're technically outside of our charter by initiating this project. So it should be the school committee that authorizes it, but also redefines or amends the charter that we're currently under. As I mentioned here and in the meeting last night, I'm more than happy to have this subcommittee be the assist to the school committee and the district for moving these projects along. However, we should probably formalize that in the upcoming months with the school committee, including, quantity of people, whether it's a continuation of this subcommittee and it becomes termed membership, or if it's a brand new committee that's pulled together. I think those discussions are in front of everyone. So the whole point is that we will need to submit a stage 2 application for these capital projects by February 15th. So one of the things, Deb, we should probably discuss when we get into next steps is, the second meeting this month, whether or not we need to have any special meetings in the beginning of February to make sure that we're following the proper order of approval at the building subcommittee and then the school committee. And I'm pretty sure the town council needs to move the stage 2 application along. Now, just so everybody else is also aware, the list of capital improvements in the stage 2 application is probably going to be a bigger appetite than what we will actually be spending. I think it's 27 million in identified capital improvements. We're going to list them all in the stage 2 application. It's not going to be a bond funded project. We're going to have to try and pick off projects annually through the budget cycle. But it's the intention, if we're going to be spending this money anyway, we should at least enter into the RIDE process to receive a minimum of 35% reimbursement. So my pie in the sky idea is that, well, if we're already spending $2 million a year for school capital improvements, with that potential reimbursement, I feel like there's a conversation to be had that maybe we increase that annually, knowing that we're gonna have to prove ourselves, or the district's gonna have to prove itself that we're being good stewards of managing these projects and getting the reimbursement annually. But it strikes me as an opportunity to have the conversation that, you know, where we can increase our efficiency or get more bang for our buck in our investment. So it seems like a no-brainer to me to be moving.
And a very good example is, we had a pre-bid meeting this morning.
Yeah,
Of the middle school for the roofing.
yes,
So-
we brought some folks up to the middle school roof. We looked at the phasing we have up there, since the architect engineering services, we had good turnout. Very excited about that, looking to see what we have come back from that. That process is rolling. Again, it's a next year's, budget. So project, just like the Springbrook roof, doesn't get started until July 1.
But it's on the capital improvements list
Correct.
that's going to ride. So everything gets approved. When you do that project, you'll get at least minimum 35% back. That's nice.
Yes.
I'd be interested to see what roof numbers come in at. Chris, I don't know if you've done any recently. We're seeing quite a,
That's, so, we haven't got any prices yet.
We've seen
I've been seeing some very competitive numbers. I was just in a meeting in West Warwick, and the facilities director indicated that a roof that was estimated at $3 million came in at 1.8 recently. So,
About time.
Yeah, and as far as the furniture goes, we just did the bid for all the furniture for the new Newport High School. And it came in substantially under the $16,000 under the original, 16% under the original estimate. It was very good news, so it's good to see that prices are kind of stabilizing.
yeah, I mean, we started our own microeconomy in Rhode Island with, you know, putting billions of dollars of school construction on the street. It is worth noting that the recent Council on Elementary and Secondary Education approved no projects for construction in December, which means that districts front-loaded a lot of projects to get within the incentive reimbursement in the last spring. And it was the first fall in many years that no projects were moved forward.
You just have some budgeting too, so probably not a lot more comes.
Yeah, no, I mean, right, it's like the kids, they don't ask where the money comes from, they just want to spend it, right? Okay.
Are we in the capital projects update right now, or are we still on?
Yeah.
Cause I have a question.
It's
but-
only one, to
Yeah, I
give you
didn't
one
know.
more update, because I ran through all the critical budgets today, updated them, ran down their global budget, and I know the number everybody wants to hear about is where we're at with our contingencies and our total surplus. So that number of that pot of money we have, that's either within our budget for each school or outside of it, is at $2,588,621. So we're still over 2.5 million. And we've gone through a good amount of rock removal at Dunn's, rock removal at State, mold abatement. It's Springbrook. So we've been through quite a few issues here to date, but we're holding strong there. 2.5 million, so that's good.
Good. I mean, that's still 5% of our original budget, so.
Yeah, right, right. So we're doing good.
Any questions to Deb on that update? So I think we can now go to the capital improvements, capital projects update.
Any question?
I didn't know if you were doing yeah, I do. I want to ask about the, I want to ask about the gym doors at the middle school. I know that there have been a lot of concern from teachers that they just can open. So I know, I had heard that, you know, you were in the process and, you know, something about doors, but what about in the meantime?
In the meantime, we have to continue our checks. What it is in the gym class, a kid gets up to the crash bar and just kind of pumps it. The door doesn't open, so the closer doesn't fully latch it. So the door's just kind of sitting there. So they've been diligent after gym classes to make sure everything's pushed and latched shut. And we'll continue.
So that's for, the teachers are responsible for that?
Yeah, well, after the class, we have an officer doing checks, we have custodians doing checks regularly, so we have multiple eyes on those doors plus others.
Okay. And then when do you think that will be able to be fixed?
We have parts on order right now. I don't think they'll be in for February break. I think it's a little too close to the lead time, so I'm eyeing April break unless we have some opportunities beforehand.
Thank you.
Was it just the closers that failed or?
It's an old vertical rod that's worn out. They ripped the bottom rods already out because they weren't catching it, so it's 20 years of wear and tear, the originals.
So there's a lot of kids in there all day. It's safety.
And this goes back to the vestibule project.
Yep.
And I was gonna put mullions on those doors to really secure them. But he wouldn't let me kind of work that calculation, so we said, scrap that, I'm just gonna get brand new hardware, replace it as is.
Oh, he didn't want you to put a mullion on because it would reduce the width of egress. Okay.
These are calculations on egress.
So we'd go from a 6 foot wide opening to a 5 foot 8 opening, yeah. Okay, got it. He's right, but. Okay,
I didn't want to go through that whole process. I do have, my big update was I have that variance meeting next week, next Tuesday. So at the next, meeting when we come together, I'll be able to tell you the good news or bad news. We're either continuing on with our vestibule and secured man trap, or we'll have to put the doors back in and come up with another solution for security.
and they haven't been amenable to just posting occupant loads that would satisfy the width of egress?
That's kind of what we asked him for, and we still need to go in front of the board to get approval.
Okay. Any questions for Mark? Any other questions, concerns? Okay. All right, so let's talk next steps. I mean, our primary projects, I don't really see a need to meet at our next meeting in January. However,
Yeah, I think we need to back off, right? We need to see when that town council meeting is, and then back to the school committee, and then we meet before the school committee, correct?
when do you need a vote by? Likely, the 15th of February. And I'd be happy to give an update, Chris.
Of course.
Okay, so let's assume, I'm just realizing that I have a public presentation on Wednesday, the 22nd in the evening. In the next week, we'll determine whether or not we need to hold the 22nd. There's not going to be any formal approvals that are occurring at that meeting. So I think our next meeting after that would be February 12th. However, I feel like we need to meet a week or so earlier than that.
Is there a chance we can meet the 5th?
There's probably a school committee meeting that evening, isn't there?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. What if we met the night before the school committee, the 4th? Tuesday night. Everyone's schedule.
Budget meeting.
There you go.
Yeah, but if they start at, I don't know what time they
5:30,
start at
like
5:30.
we were last night, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we could, let me
Okay.
think about that. If we need to hold the 22nd of January.
I don't know what
I'm
you
not
have
convinced
for
that.
that, right? I don't know what you need to see to approve.
Right.
That letter of, I'm sorry, escapes me what it's called. The front end, the 3 documents that actually need to be signed as part of the stage 2. I can make sure they have that ready,
Mhm.
but I don't know what else they'll have to say.
Okay. So we can hold we can forego the 22nd of January. We're not gonna have any invoice unless something comes up mission critical at one of our 3
Mhm.
active projects.
Right.
We will forego the January 22nd meeting. We will keep the February 12th meeting as scheduled, and if we need to meet the week prior, I will try and notify everybody well in advance. How's everybody's February 14th?
Did that last year? Or close to it or something?
We meet on Valentine's Day last
Yeah,
year.
you threw out the meeting because you didn't want to be the
Let's
brought
see.
out of town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You threatened it.
Yes, that's right. Okay. Okay. Anything else for the good of the order here? Anything that the subcommittee wants, needs to see, any other formatting of how information gets presented? I think by the next time we meet, we're gonna be seeing quite a bit of stuff going on. I mean, it's amazing. You're living the construction cycle here, is that you're on site for many months and it doesn't feel like anything's happening. And then all of a sudden, within a month, the building frame is going to be up. So. Okay, any public comment? Okay, hearing nothing, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.